I've learnt in my short time in politics, when the Deputy Prime Minister tells you to do something, you do it. So here I am. Nisam Bulavanaka, good morning. It really is a pleasure to be here in Suva. I'm only here for 24 hours, so I'm going to make the most of it, but it's really great to join this really important conversation hosted by Fiji New Zealand Business Council. So can I please acknowledge the Deputy Prime Minister and thank you very much for taking the time this morning to be here. I know you are both very busy, Minister, as well. Thank you. You're in the middle of passing your budget. You've both had late nights and early starts, so look, really neat to be able to meet you both this morning. I want to acknowledge the leadership of the Fiji New Zealand Business Council. I know the Council's worked really hard for many years to strengthen those business and trade relations between our two countries. It really is appreciated and valued, and I know, speaking specifically for New Zealand, we know that our economic recovery will be led by our businesses, by our agile fleet of foot businesses, and I know the same will be happening here in Fiji. So congratulations to you for all the hard work that you do. And indeed the same goes for your hard-working sister organisation, the New Zealand Fiji Business Council, whose members I gather are currently out west in Fiji on a business mission. It's neat when you have a conference in Fiji. I mean, it's awful. Look, last year, as you'll all know, our two Prime Ministers jointly set that really bold target between our two countries to lift that bilateral trade to 2 billion New Zealand dollars by 2030. Our current figures are actually sitting at about $1.4 billion, so we only really need to grow another 600 million in the next 5 years. And with both of our governments really committed to lowering the barriers to trade and boosting investment, I'm certain that we will reach that target. But importantly, we need the ideas, we need the innovation, and we need the drive of the Fijian and New Zealand businesses to reach that lofty $2 billion target. So again, commending the Fiji New Zealand Business Council for going that extra mile and for developing your own strategy to reach the target. We really look forward to seeing that being presented today and seeing the detail that's in it. I do want to take the opportunity in my remarks this morning to talk about two, I think, very important levers that are going to make that target become a reality. Perhaps top of mind for many exporters here today is, of course, the very volatile, unpredictable trade landscape that we currently find ourselves in. We are dealing with a level of uncertainty that directly impacts our ability to do business and, of course, therefore to invest. But the New Zealand and Fiji and other governments in our region are working really hard to advocate for the preservation of our global rules-based trading system, to protect the interests of our export businesses, and that is critical to keeping our economies strong and to building prosperity in our own communities, our own nations. And of course, I've just said to the DPM, I'm going to speak a lot about this today, but of course, PACER Plus provides our export businesses in our region with continuity and stability. This agreement not only counters those global challenges that are in front of us, but it is our first lever towards achieving that $2 billion target. While access into other markets might be rocky, PACER Plus has locked in common, transparent rules and standards that reflect and we think respond to the challenges faced by our Pacific economies. It will remove trade barriers, it's removing tariffs over time, and it secures market access for goods, services and investments. So if Fiji were to join PACER Plus, the agreement would lock in place access to 7 of Fiji's top 10 export markets. Membership comes with a package of support to help Fiji put in place the systems, the legislation, the institutional capacity to meet its obligations under the agreement. This package can help Fijian goods and service exporters to use the agreement to grow their business. Importantly, joining the rules-based trade arrangement like this, it's a really powerful signal that Fiji and Fijian businesses are serious about attracting greater investment. And of course, we know that lowering trade barriers is good for consumers. I know that today's cost of living challenges are hitting Fijians just as they are hitting New Zealanders back home. Lowering trade barriers through agreements like PACER is a key tool to reducing those costs for us all. I understand some Fijian businesses have concerns about what PACER Plus might mean for them, but the beauty of it is that it provides flexibility over what's covered and how long businesses have to adjust. I'm really hopeful that these benefits and flexibilities will encourage Fiji to join the PACER Plus family, and indeed we'll be talking a lot more about that today at the Pacific Island Forum. A second lever that's really dear to my heart as New Zealand's Minister of State for Trade and Investment and Minister for Women. If we are serious about reaching that $2 billion trade goal, we need to ensure that women are not just included in trade but are central to it. I'm looking at a number of you in this room. Women in business face barriers that their male counterparts do not. I can't believe in 2025 I'm still saying that. But if we want to grow trade across all sectors and communities, then our efforts must intentionally include women and address the constraints and barriers to their participation, particularly investment. We know that improving gender equality in business results in improved productivity and positively impacts both trade and GDP. And dare I say it, with all due respect to all the men in the room, having women on your board is much better for your finances. And that is why New Zealand champions gender responsive trade policy. We do acknowledge that we need strong partnerships across the public and private sectors, and we need them to be inclusive. And that means that working with women-led businesses, chambers of commerce, business councils, local entrepreneurs, make sure the benefits of trade are shared. New Zealand is working alongside our Pacific partners to create enabling environments for women in trade, whether that's through business training, financial inclusion initiatives, or ensuring that women have a voice in trade-related policy making. In that vein, I welcome the recently endorsed Fiji Women's Economic Empowerment National Action Plan 25 to 2030. That, I understand, is going to inform and guide Fiji's efforts to address the financial inclusion of women and promote the economic participation and advancement. So, Minister Kieran, thank you for your leadership in these vital initiatives. I'm really pleased to be able to stand here today and say New Zealand's supporting a range of initiatives across economic development, trade and women's empowerment through our International Development Cooperation Program. And that includes support of rural and maritime women's economic empowerment initiatives through the Women's Fund Fiji. Inclusive trade is smart trade, and it is our path, the $2 billion in two-way trade that must include all of us. So let's be clear, we all have a role in attaining that bold trade target. And as this event demonstrates, momentum towards that target really is getting underway. So I do acknowledge this very esteemed group of business people who are here today. I particularly welcome the presence of our women business leaders. You are critical to realising our Prime Minister's joint aspiration of driving trade growth between our countries. So let's continue to work together and grow the trade that delivers for all. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you today.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, James. I'll just begin as I normally do by acknowledging the traditional landowners on the land on which we gather today. Waturanga sakatigo I nandonumai, wasakanangon turanga na tuisuba. Kanto kai sakatigo na neme mai sota tigo na nomni soso na mataka vinakentai. Ena kena mai wangangal tagitigo na bewakani. Ena matintu mai New Zealandi. The Minister for State for Trade, Investment and Minister for Women, Honourable Nicola Grigg. I wish to acknowledge as well the presence of the former President of the Republic of Fiji, my Paramount Chief as well, Ratu Epeli Nailatikau, Toke Nesungalada. And I see a lot of captains of industry here today, which obviously, Honourable Minister, attests to the importance of your visit to our beautiful islands. So, and also I'd like to acknowledge Her Excellency Charlotte Darlow for coming. I understand you've been on leave, Charlotte, and so welcome back. and the Honourable Minister for Women, my good friend and colleague, Honourable Shashi Kiran, who continues the work of trailblazing when it comes to women empowerment, not only in society generally, but also in terms of what we're trying to do in terms of the economy. Kia ora, Yan Ravinaka, Mbula Vinaka, and very good morning to you all. It's always a pleasure to address the private sector in any shape or form. We say that they're the oxygen of any economy, and and on top of that, I always jokingly say that when I look around the room, I generally normally see either a half of Fiji's wealth in front of me, or probably 1/3, just depending on the event. And so it's wonderful to be here to engage with the Fiji New Zealand Business Council to actually just continue the good work in trying to really catapult the Fijian economy and also enhance ties with New Zealand. One of the things that we endeavored to do when we first got into government was, and I say this now and again, jokingly of course, when I graduated as a young student in the late 90s from university, Fiji was talking about economic diversification and ease of doing business. It's now 2025. Fiji is still talking about economic diversification and ease of doing business. That said, I think in my assessment, we are perhaps the first government to seriously look at unlocking both the potential in economic diversification and ease of doing business. But not only that, ensuring that in this process, we also open up the rural economy. Because if we are able to do that, the landscape in Fiji, this nonsense about poverty that we talk about all the time, will be a thing of the past. So I'll try and explain that in my remarks. So today, of course, we'd like to sort of talk a little bit about opportunity as well, balance and ambition, the opportunity to rebalance the trade somewhat, Honourable Minister, between our two countries, sort of look at the strategic investment in facilitating trade. I had the wonderful opportunity last year to get a sponsored visit from New Zealand to visit New Zealand, and it dawned on me on that visit that we've been looking all over the world for solutions. I think New Zealand has about 90% of what we want to do. Diversification in agriculture, diversification in aquaculture, looking at the cooperative model and how we enhance that in Fiji. Some of you probably don't realize Fonterra, which we drink every morning in Anchor milk and Rewa dairy powder and butter, is a cooperative. Kiwi fruit, Zespris, they are a cooperative. So we had a look at other areas, forestry. New Zealand is exceptional when it comes to forestry management. They already have mapped out their whole country in terms of what they want to do in terms of carbon trading, what they want to do in terms of commercializing forests, etc. So there are some great lessons already on our doorstep, or virtually on our doorstep. But for reasons known to those of the past, we haven't quite really either realized it or tried to make steps towards unlocking that potential. And of course, it's no secret that there's a lot of you won't realize, but there's a lot of engagement happening behind the scenes to start unlocking a lot of these potential. And of course, the last thing I thought I'd just cover is the roadmap that was sort of presented as a document, or is going to be presented as a document to the Minister and I here today. And I would like to again thank the Fiji New Zealand Business Council leaders. So firstly, actually it was in here, we had a morning meeting here, and I challenged them to look at an actual document and rather just talk about it. So we now have a document. And of course, rest assured, the government of Fiji will be looking at that document very closely. And we will put it into action. In fact, I'll share some things that are already. One of the great things I'm finding in this government is when we say a lot of stuff, it's not just a politician trying to make it to sound good. There's actually a lot of work that's already underway in a lot of these areas. So that from that perspective, I take a lot of comfort. Of course, let me just start with the ease of doing business and then what we've been trying to do in this space. It's no secret that to really successfully drive the Fijian economy, we need significant reforms. Our laws, most of our laws actually, are sort of 20 years or plus old, totally irrelevant for this time and age. So one of the major exercises currently being undertaken is to actually relook at the laws and start changing them. And now and again I scratch my head and wonder what, for the last 16 years, what exactly were we doing with the laws? And these are significant laws, online safety laws, Telecommunication Act laws, laws that can actually unlock the economy. We don't have data protection laws, so these are the kinds of things that we're looking at. For those of you who may or may not know, we launched the National Digital Strategy this year in April. And from certainly my perspective, it will be one of the pillars of how we continue to ramp up and transform the Fijian economy and actually diversify it as well. We have, in the last 2 years, started the rollout of automated processes for business, for government. We started with the starting a business subsystem. That's now baked in, still a few teething problems. So working on that. By the end of this year, for those of you who are into property investment and development, we will introduce the building permit approval system. This is an online system where everyone can actually load your application once, and all the agencies across government concurrently review and approve your application. For those of you who are acutely in tune with the process, at the moment it can take 18 months, probably 3 to 4 years. We want to reduce that to 6 and keep going. If we're able to do that, we will actually shrink the gestation time for investment. So when we cry and moan about slow growth, I mean, at the moment we're traveling quite well. We want to do 5% or more over the next few years. I believe this subsystem will be a big part of unlocking some of that potential. Traditionally in the past, you'd have documents that came up to somewhere here, hard copies. You'd have to make 3 copies, hand them to the Department of Town and Country Planning, and then pray very hard that you'll get an outcome somewhere down the path. No SLAs, no visibility on what's happening. Sometimes you'll get back cryptic messages that things are maybe or may not be done, etc. And so hopefully that'll be the new Fiji going forward, more automation, more visibility, more upfront payment of fees. You don't have to negotiate your fee with your senior government official. It's actually paid up front. It's one payment and the job gets done. By the time we finish these two subsystems, we will have 16 agencies of government, 25 agencies of government linked across that business platform using one platform. The beauty about this is going forward, you will find that you will not have to pre-populate forms like you have to do when you go places. When you go to Ministry for Health, you have to write down your address, get your birth certificate, etc., etc. All of that will be, you have to just do it once, and you know, all the other agencies have access to that information. So you know, also we apart from that, in terms of the digital strategy, the thinking is, but by 2030, 2035, to have about 80% of Fiji government digitized. This sounds like a bit crazy, right? Yeah. But this is where we're taking Fiji. And it's happening. It's not only just me making some conversations. And we're very serious about automating government, because I'm getting tired of, you know, sort of just hearing, you know, the complaints from everybody. And I've heard that for 33 years in professional life. And we just really just need to knuckle down and do something about it and get it going. So be assured that if we are around in the next 10 years, come and see me. I suspect the environment to how you do business in Fiji will be a lot different. Just to share another initiative which is quite transformative. Next week I won't be here, but the PS will be launching the National Window System, National Window Information Portal. This is for trading. So we are looking, as soon as that's done, that is the basis on which we can then move ahead. Basically in that portal, we've actually documented what we need to automate. Normally you do that and then you step into automation. So in the next 24, 36 months, there will be a single window trading system for Fiji. So everyone that deals in export and import will get on the system, get approvals on that system. It's done everywhere else in the world, and we are lining up to do that at home as well. So that will again bring a level of efficiency, significant efficiency into the way business is being done in Fiji. So enough on ease of doing business, but and again, and I do accept that you know, we're just on a journey. Things are not perfect by any means, but you know, rest assured, this government is very determined to really break the back of ease of doing business and make all your lives easier, make our lives easier, make us easier to collect revenue, which is very important, and also have transparency and integrity in the whole approval and cash handling process. In terms of agriculture, and you know, of course the document that is the main topic today, I have to say that again, visiting New Zealand and Australia, you know, these guys have really worked out how to really commercialize their agriculture and aquaculture, and somehow, I'm not sure how or why, we just haven't quite got there. So what are we doing about it is probably the main question. You would have seen that Fiji Water has made announcements in commercial agriculture. They will start an 80-acre farm in Manoa very soon, focusing on pawpaw, citrus, mangoes. I've told them to look at watermelon, even though it's not a tree. They're sort of into tree type agriculture, if you like, pomegranate, etc. And I am hoping that once they work out how it can be grown successfully, we can start rolling out a smallholder farming model. So for example, in theory, say for the province of Manoa, if they believe that mangoes grow well in Manoa, we know mangoes grow well everywhere, we can start lining up farms. One, you get sort of guarantee of market from the rural economy, so you get guaranteed income when the harvest is done. Two, you're involving a major player that knows what they're doing in agriculture and can actually advise and counsel both governments, the ministry, and the farmers on the ground, and sort of try and build firstly import replacement capacity. At the moment, even the juices we are drinking today, this is all imported stuff, and it always annoys me. And we have the best pawpaw, watermelon, mangoes, whatever in the world, I reckon. And it's time to start unlocking the potential there. So import replacement, and then move to export, hopefully. High-end export, so we can sort of get into that market. We've got two other entities that are about to announce soon. Hopefully, I'm pressing Kamal Chetty from Investment Fiji. When are they going to announce, Kamal? One is a Sri Lankan mega agriculture company. They're here doing something else. And an Israeli company that's currently in Papua New Guinea. Hopefully they'll be making some announcements this year. From my perspective, imminent. But again, similar modeling. Come in, identify produce, work on it, drive it to commercial scale, involve rural farmers, set up cooperatives, and then we keep going. And that way we can genuinely, as I said, not only when we talk commercial agriculture, when we talk commercial agriculture, we're talking about big mega farms, but it will be big farms with rural supply bolted in. And also we're pursuing the same model in aquaculture. First 2 years we were prioritizing agriculture, so I think we've got enough momentum in that space. And it's been quite surprising. Even right now, we've got a big farm in Sambeto. They'll end up with about 159 greenhouses producing vegetables. It's a Chinese investor. So we already have some real transformative stuff happening in the country. What does it mean? The hotels will get local vegetables, don't have to import anymore, high quality, fresh, and then hopefully we can also supply to local consumers. In terms of aquaculture, let me just say, until almost about last year, I did not quite realize, but we already have the expertise for commercial aquaculture in Fiji. We have two young men in the country right now that have worked out how to breed, of course, prawns and shrimps, developing their own local SOPs, standard operating procedures. They've now developed their own feed, and it's just a matter of linking them with the right investors and trying to see how we can scale the market up progressively. Prawn imports alone to Fiji is 21 million. There's 21 million low-hanging fruit there. And then I reckon if we market our prawns well to internationally, into New Zealand, hopefully, most of it, they will do some good things here. And of course, I don't need to tell you about, I'm preaching to the converted, particularly with the Fijians here. We've got some very promising commodities such as ginger, taro and cassava. We're working with NZMPI and just looking at how we can scale it up better. One of the things that we've worked out is we really haven't really sized the market properly. So, and no one's done that exercise for Fiji. So everybody's planting like crazy, and then you hope, maybe you say a little prayer before you pull it out of the ground, hoping it'll go somewhere. And so we're taking that mystery out of the equation. There's meetings happening in August here in Fiji with New Zealand MPI to look at a market to farm market construction, and hopefully on the back of that, our farmers will get more comfortable, because when we tell them, right now we tell them there's a big market in New Zealand, and the next question is, okay, where is it? And that's where the conversation kind of dies. But anecdotally, when you talk to the distributors of our produce, they do say that they need more of it. And so that's another major opportunity. Taro, cassava, turmeric, oils and spices. I've talked about tropical fruit. Natural cosmetics is another area that we're trying to build. We now have a couple of products that we consider world class. We've got Pure Fiji, that's been quite well known for some time. Nama Fiji is another one. That's sea grapes, Honourable Minister. That's been converted into cosmetics. We should pick up one for you before you leave the country. But it's apparently better than L'Oreal and all these other products that you women use. But so there's potential. I see the president of the Business Outsourcing Council here. The outsourcing industry for Fiji has been growing very rapidly. In the last, I think, 2 years since we got into government, or 2.5, or 7 months, let's say. Five new companies have entered the market and already are in operation, probably 20 to 40 seats with a view to scale up. Right now there's about 5,000 to 8,000 employees in the BPO space. Foreign exchange earnings now is at 300 million. It'll grow to about $1 billion, I reckon, if we manage that industry well. That's only a matter of time. It'll take 5 to 10 years. Part of the digital strategy is to ensure that we get the right fundamentals in place to be able to ramp up that particular industry. It's an exciting industry for various reasons. One, it has the potential to raise the incomes of our young, because what's paid in that space is very good. And I'm not only talking about the business process outsourcing. This is the other, hubbing of cybersecurity companies in Fiji. Sort of getting to edit movies such as Netflix. That will all happen because of as you all know, Google's come to town. So, hopefully in this small discussion, I thought I'm just trying to paint a picture that particularly this government doesn't just talk big. We talk big, but you see big things happening in the country as well. And it's starting to evolve out now. In the next half of this year, you will see some major significant announcements. And we're going to see the first 6-star resort in Fiji, a serious 6-star resort by a big world-class label. It's a $500 million project. We'll see an announcement of Fiji's first ICT business park. It's almost $500 million in terms of total construction costs. So that's 800 million there just in terms of investment, and another smattering of other hotels, etc. So things are starting to ramp up from where I sit. One of the other things too, I thought I'd suggest, just in terms of the trade and those sort of sectors, is the renewable energy space. I think New Zealand's almost 100% renewable, isn't it? 87%. Fiji went to 50% in the 80s, and we've pretty much been paddling in our canoe in a circle since then. You would have seen EFL make a major announcement about 160 megawatts sort of investment in renewable energy, particularly solar. 50% of that they'll do themselves. The other 50% will be done on a public-private partnership basis. There are some major players like Fiji Water wanting to do their own solar, which will help and sell back to the national grid. Also seriously looking at some hydro, re-looking at the Namosi hydro. We are looking at hydro for Taveuni. There's some opportunities there to even supply from Taveuni into Manoa. So these are the types of things that are being built out. And of course, with after being blessed by Google bringing their connectivity to Fiji, we need the power to be able to attract things like data centers, renewable preferably. That's certainly what New Zealand's doing as well. And so, we're sort of ramping up that space in terms of power supply, because on the back of that sits some great opportunities. When I looked at the draft document, I didn't see anything about forestry. And I was sharing with the Honourable Minister, we have the largest non-indigenous forest of mahogany in the world. And again, I'm not sure why, but we just haven't seemed to get it right. We haven't been able, it should be $200 million a year or even $300 million a year export from Fiji. The best we've done, I think, is 40 million. And that was one-off because some guys from America came in, cut down our timber like hell, stocked it up, and took it, and it's still sitting in America in a warehouse for violins. There is some potential there. You will see the mahogany bill come to Parliament very soon, which will restructure the whole industry. It will ensure that the landowners who are the front and center with forestry in Fiji get real genuine benefits. And that's, sort of that whole restructure process with the legislation, it's ready. We partnered up with New Zealand and Australia through MDF and got that done. So, again, like I said, you're not just talking, we're actually doing some good things on the ground. And of course, the Carver bill, we believe Yangwana, as we call it in this neck of the woods, or Carver, will be a major industry for Fiji. I have about three, what I call, they look serious, but we'll see, investors from offshore, one from Canada, one from Australia, and two from Australia, really looking at value-adding Carver. It's $1 billion opportunity for the Pacific. We drink a lot of it at home. I'm telling the Prime Minister, let's ban it at home, let's export all of it. We'll get more money, the people will be healthier, and we can get more taxes too. But it's a major industry. The Carver policy is being revised. There'll be legislation coming out of that. There'll probably be another MDF exercise, Charlotte. What it means for Fiji is between mahogany and Carver alone, you have multi-million-dollar industrial opportunities structured with the proper legislation ready to go. The decking market for mahogany is quite big in New Zealand. We can't get in because of certification issues for a certification. So there's a bit of work going in there. So there's another low-hanging fruit for the Fiji New Zealand Business Council in terms of trade potential. So hopefully in this very small discussion, I hope you kind of understand what Fiji is all about now. It's about, certainly from the trade perspective, genuinely restructuring the Fijian economy, which I am happy to say is being done. Fortunately or unfortunately, tourism is just gonna fly. What I'm seeing in tourism is quite amazing. And I'll share it a little bit so that you just sort of understand what I'm talking about. The first wave of tourism development in Fiji was done by a lot of the, let's say the part European, the Costellos, the Beddoes, that wave in the 60s and 50s. And that wave came through. In 1996, Fiji Airways took over a piece of land in Denarau on the theory that if we built an actual branded hotel, it would start changing the dynamics in terms of tourism. So this Fiji Sofitel was built. After the Sofitel was built, then came Radisson, Wellmark, Hilton, etc. And that's what's risen Fiji tourism. We're at the third stage of the wave now. Same operators are now saying, we want to do 3 or 4 or 5 sites in Fiji. We will get to the 2 million mark in probably 15 years or less, if we manage that whole potential right. And this again is not talk. We were at the last hotel investment forum in Denarau just a month ago. And the level of interest in Fiji is quite significant. And so with the right policies, the right government, the right leadership, and the right direction, tourism's got a mind of its own. But the beauty with that, I feel, is we can keep working on these other, commercializing agriculture, aquaculture. They can all feed in as well into supply for the hotel market, and we bring down the foreign content in what we're selling. So again, from certainly where I sit, and what we've seen through Jenny and Kamal, China is another, sort of country that will explode with Fiji in the not too distant future in terms of just economic engagement. And hopefully, things will ramp up. I thought the reason why I asked the minister to start first was also not only because it's a ladies' first thing, but she is our visitor, of course, and under the Dovata partnership. But more importantly, Honourable Minister, was one of my first speeches, and when I became the Trade Minister, was to assure New Zealand and Australia that we'll have another look at Pesa Plus. My advice, and has always been my advice at the time to New Zealand and Australia, it has to work for Fiji. Because we do have a manufacturing base in Fiji that's quite exceptional. I feel that we have opportunities for our manufacturers to do a lot more in terms of nearshoring of supply for manufacturing. Some of them are already doing it right now. And if we're able to sort of work out some of those dynamics and sort of ensure that the right guardrails are put in place. Fiji is keen to sort of see how we can land Pesa, but of course, like I said, we'll be also guided very strongly by private sector. to ensure that it's what's the number now? 20,000 people employed in manufacturing or more. So it is a significant component of the employment in Fiji. So again, to the Fiji New Zealand Business Council, James and Honourable Minister and Madam Excellency Charlotte, and to all of you here today, I thought I'd just go off script a bit and really just continue to paint a picture of where Fiji is headed. Because if I do, I think it'll make clearer what what we can or should be doing. Interestingly, the discussions around a double taxation agreement review came up as well. So that's something we'll probably bring forward. So these are some of the things that we can do. I genuinely feel that there's a lot of opportunities to do more with New Zealand and Australia. I know Peso Plus is sort of can be a catalyst for that. But in the meantime, we are already starting to see some serious levels of engagement, and the future looks promising for the two respective countries. And I tell everybody, trust me, the next 10 years, the Fiji you used to know will no longer be there. Some of the pain points that we've experienced in business will no longer be there, hopefully. So with those few words, and thank you for your attention here today. I noticed no one's had breakfast, looks like. But again, it's always a pleasure to engage with the private sector, particularly in this case, the New Zealand Fiji Business Council. To all of you, we are making a trip in September. It's the usual Fiji trade and investment mission into New Zealand. We did that mission. It actually was the first mission we did when we got into government, recognizing the significant size of our business relationship with New Zealand, being the largest trading partner. So we're doing that again this year. From that visit, in fact, we have some investors already either on the ground investing or in the process of investing. And so we hope to do more of the same and start opening up more channels of investment both ways, from Fiji and from New Zealand. Really keen to engage the Maori economy and see how some of that capital, I know they're all heavily investing in New Zealand. We've asked them to start thinking about Fiji. That is another area that we think can be worked on. Hopefully in this small discussion, you get a feel really of where Fiji is headed. I honestly feel that the next 10 years will be transformative for Fiji. But it's no secret that it can only be done on the back of not only government, but working with the oxygen of the economy, which is the private sector, and trying to work together to achieve what sometimes I get told by my wife is very lofty and ambitious goals. But you don't die by dreaming about small things. You have to dream big. Even if you go 50% of the way, that's good enough. So with those few words, again, it's an honor to be here, and thank you for your attention. I hope I've adequately motivated you in terms of whatever you're doing. But there's some very good opportunities that await all of us. And my urge to all of us is let's work together and do whatever we can to push Fiji ahead and transform the economy, re-engineer its architecture so it's more diversified, make a big dent on the ease of doing business, and we can all live happily after that. Minasa Valley.
Thank you very much, Honourable DPM